All right, so this is going to be a video on doing your surgical hand scrub. So I have Casey here that's going to demonstrate, and I'm going to explain it to you guys. So at this point, you have already opened your room, so your mask is already on, but then you will come out to do your scrub. So you're going to do the 3 S's, which is your shields, pull up your sleeves. So Casey's going to tuck her sleeves in, however she needs to get them to stay so that you're not running into your sleeves while doing your scrub. And then the 3rd S is your scrub brush or your soap, whatever S you want to use, okay? So Casey's going to open her scrub brush sterilely, so just like we open other packages. Luckily her pick is on top. She's going to tuck the top wrapper underneath, and then she's going to fill the scrub brush with betadine. So there are different kinds of scrub brushes when you get to facilities. Here at the college we just use a dry scrub brush, and then you're going to fill it with betadine, okay, and just set it on top of the sink so that you can grab it when ready. So next you need to wet your arms. So you're going to wet your arms starting at fingertips and going all the way up to 2 inches past your elbows. Notice Casey is not going back and forth through the water, and she's keeping her fingertips up. So then you're going to get betadine in your hand, and you're going to soap up each arm up to 2 inches above your elbows. So notice Casey's kind of just going up the arm at once. If she needs more soap, you'll get more soap and do the other arm. Hopefully your foot pedal there works to give you betadine. So going up to 2 inches above her other elbow, making sure she's covering all surfaces. Next you're going to grab your nail pick. You're going to pick your nails underneath the water. So Casey's going through and picking each fingernail underneath the water, okay? Your surgical scrub is supposed to take you 3 to 5 minutes. We will not start the timer until you start scrubbing your fingers with the actual scrub brush. So this is nail picking up to this point is not included in your time. So after you're done picking your nails, you need to wash the soap off again. So there have been studies that show that having betadine sitting on your skin reduces the amount of flora, okay? So that's why we soap up and leave it on there. So she's picked her nails, rinsed off the soap. Now she's going to reapply betadine all the way up her arms if the pedal works. There we go. So she's reapplying the betadine soap all the way up to 2 inches above her elbows. So at this point we're making sure that we're not hitting anything on the sink. So Casey's reaching in, grabbing her scrub brush from the inside of the package. You will need to soap up your scrub brush as often as you need to make sure that you have plenty of bubbles. If you need to reapply soap, go ahead and reapply more betadine, okay? So Casey's formed bubbles. Now she's going to keep her fingertips up and start with her fingertips. You're going to do 15 strokes on each fingertip. So you're going to, what we call it, is marching back and forth. So you can either count 15 strokes up and down, or you can count the down strokes and just count to 8, okay? So you have 3 to 5 minutes, so it's going to be a pretty fast motion. You finish that hand, you're going to switch and do the fingertips on the other hand. Okay? She's using the hard bristly side of the brush and not the foam side. Okay? Once you're done with that, make sure you have enough. Now she's going to start with her fingers. So your fingers are separated into 4 different sides, okay, each finger. So you're just going to go through each surface and do each one 15 times. So again, either count up and down or just count 8 down strokes. So it's easier if you go in the same order on every finger so that you don't miss a surface. Okay, so Casey started on the outside left of her thumb. So look, on her next finger, she's starting on the outside and going around, okay? Casey is scrubbing the backs and fronts of 2 fingers at once just to save herself time. Okay, so she did the outside, then she did the back and front of 2 fingers, and then she has to do the inside, okay? So just making sure you're getting all 4 surfaces of each finger. If you feel like you don't have enough bubbles on your scrub brush, by all means get more betadine and more water and form some more so you have more soap suds, okay? So once Casey finishes with one hand, she is going to go over to the other hand. Okay, so she'll do 5 fingers on this one, make sure she's doing the outside, also all the way down the side of the palm, And then she's going to do the palm, the front of her palm and the back of her hand before she marches to her other fingers. Okay, so that's 15 strokes on the front and back of each hand. Okay, so now she's going to go over to her left hand and do all of her fingers on her left hand. Again, 8 strokes if you're counting the downstroke on each surface, or 15 strokes if you're counting up and down. So she's doing the outside of this finger, and then notice she's doing 2 fingers at once. 2 fingers on the palm side, and then she's doing the inside of those 2 fingers. Okay, then she'll do the outside of it. Next finger, and then she'll put her pinky and her ring finger together to do the back and the front of her fingers, okay? And then watch as she does the inside of those 2 fingers, and then she's going to go all the way down the palm side for 15 strokes. Then she'll go to the palm, 15 strokes, and the back of the hand, 15 strokes. So now we break your arm into 3 different sections. So halfway up to your elbow, and then 2 inches above your elbow. But we have to march back and forth. So again, just like the fingers, we break this into 4 surfaces. You're going to do 15 strokes or 8 downstrokes. Okay. So Casey's going to finish the first section on her left arm. She cannot go up to the next section. She has to switch to her right arm so that she's not going any further up one arm than she has already gone on the other one, okay? So she went up to the elbow and then went back down to her wrist. We consider that contaminated. So she's finished the first section. Now she's just going to stay on that arm and do the next section. Again, notice she didn't have very many bubbles, so she's gonna soak and water up again if she can. Okay. So scrubbing all 4 sections of that arm, making sure that you're getting, especially the back of the arm is hard to get, so and without missing a spot. So if you feel like you need to do 5 sections just to get your whole arm, go ahead. This whole time, Casey's making sure that she's keeping her fingertips up, she's keeping her elbows away from her body, and she's making sure that she's not touching the sink faucet. Okay? Your guys' arms and shoulders are going to start to burn until you've really gotten used to doing a full scrub. So she's finished the second section. Now she just stays on that arm, and she's working the up to 2 inches above her elbow. Now the thing with doing the last section is make sure that you don't put your fingertips down. So notice how Casey rotated her arm so that her fingertips didn't go down, especially when you go to the back of the arm. Okay, sorry you guys, our betadine's not working, so normally you would have more bubbles than this on your arm. Okay, so Casey's doing all 4 of those sections. If you have a garbage readily available, you're going to throw your scrub brush in the garbage. If not, you're just throw it in the sink, okay? Keeping her fingertips up, she's going to run her fingers, turn the water on with her knee. So run her fingers through fingertips first, all the way up to her elbow. You cannot go back down to your fingertips. You can only go through in one direction. So notice how she wanted to wash it off again. She starts at her fingertips and goes through. Okay? And then you're going to turn the water off with your knee, and then you'll walk into your room.
Like if I